messing up my lip gloss before I even get started, but it's worth it for the coffee. Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to talk about something that I used to talk about a lot on here. If you're one of my subscribers from that era, you will remember it very well, but we're going to be talking about Paris. Oh, Paris. Later this year, 2026, it will officially be 5 years since I moved away from Paris. And that's the same amount of time that I lived in Paris, 5 years. So this felt like a good moment to do a little review. Let's do a little recap. Let's chat about it. Let's talk about why I left, how I feel about it, how my feelings have evolved in these past 5 years. The 5 years that I spent living in Paris, so I moved in fall 2016 and left at the end of summer, kind of beginning of fall of 2021. And those 5 years, my channel kind of exploded. So a lot of you guys watching this right now might be a subscriber from that era. Let me know in the comments below. When did you find my channel? What were the first videos that you watched from me? Where was I living at the time? But it was such a fun time and I was making so many videos, and a lot of those videos did have to do with my experience moving abroad, but also specifically to France, specifically to the city of Paris. I talked about my experiences. I was experiencing so much new stuff. I was learning French properly because I've been trying from the US, but that was, not as easy as when you're actually in Paris, immersed. I was exploring new avenues in my career. My husband and I were, married and living our married life for the first time. It was such an exciting time. And I would say the first couple of years living in Paris, I was completely in love with it. Loved the city, loved the learning that I was doing. Overall, just really positive and optimistic about it. But then the last couple of years, it started to get a bit more difficult. I started to have some questions, I guess, like some things that I didn't really like or I wasn't quite vibing with, or things that I couldn't find that I wanted to find in the place that I lived. My husband was already pretty burnt out of Paris. Even when I got there, he was pretty burnt out. So the first couple of years I was there, we were kind of just coasting off of my optimism and my enthusiasm for Paris. So then, once I snapped, we both were just ready to go. Then of course, at the very end, the last year and a half that I was in Paris, the pandemic happened, and that was just awful. And all the things I think that were already building, all of the doubts that I had about my life in Paris and the antsiness that I was feeling, that we were feeling together to move someplace new, to try something new, to experience something different, that really just came to a boil. It was like a pressure cooker. How many cooking metaphors can I put into one moment of my life? But it just, everything, all of the angst and the frustration and just the real and acute desire that we both had to go someplace new, that really just became unbearable during the pandemic. And that's when we made the decision, we're gonna move to New York. We're gonna go through all the steps that we need to do to move overseas. And we picked New York for many, many reasons that I won't necessarily go into all in this video, because this video is about Paris, not New York. But I'd always really wanted to live in New York. Also, I thought it'd be interesting for my husband to live in my country, but New York is also very, very different from the place that I grew up in the Midwest. So at the same time, I was experiencing something very new with him as well, which is another thing. I wanted us to go to a new city, someplace neither of us had really spent time, and to experience that together. So there were a lot of reasons why we moved, why we picked New York, but in terms of our feelings toward Paris, we were very much ready to leave. And that wasn't because Paris is a bad place to live. I want to make that really clear. There are so many reasons to live in Paris. There are so many reasons not to live in Paris. There are so many reasons to live in France, and there are so many reasons not to live in France. And that's going to really be based on you, your situation. What's right for me is not necessarily right for you. And what's right for me and in that moment in 2020, 2021, when we were making that decision, is not necessarily what's going to be right for me in the future, which is also what this video is about. Since then, you guys know the story. We lived in New York for a while. We lived in Montreal for a brief moment. We actually didn't want to leave either. When we left New York, we really thought we would come back and New York was the place to be. Then we moved to Montreal and we found out actually maybe Montreal is the place we want to be. And then we ended up in The Hague. So it always keeps bringing up this question, will we ever move back to France? Will we ever move back to Paris? And my relationship with Paris as a city, but also with France, is incredibly unique, especially compared to these other places. New York is my home country, but very much different from the part of my home country that I always had experienced. Of course, Montreal is neither of our homes, but also it felt very at home to us in a lot of ways. We settled in quite quickly and really enjoyed it. But Paris is a place that I lived 5 years. That is the longest I've ever lived anywhere in the world except for my parents' house. So except for the place that I was born and raised and grew up, Paris is the only place that I've lived for a considerable length of time, enough to really feel at home and to learn about the place in a way that you can't learn about a place when you're just there for a year or two. It's so very different when you're there. I think maybe from 2 years on, you start to get a deeper understanding, but 5 years is a big chunk of time. Seeing it over the course of my 20s and my career steps, but also seeing it go through a pandemic, seeing it go through, elections and things like that, just getting to actually experience this, and also experiencing it with my husband, who is French. So I moved there very differently than I've moved to the other places. I moved and wanted to integrate, wanted to learn the language, not just a little bit, not just to get by, but to actually immerse myself, to actually make it a part of me. And then I got French nationality, which I actually got after I left France. But that just goes to show you how much my connection grew with France as a country and a culture and all of that. It really is part of me. And Paris became a second home. And in many, many ways, if I have to pick all the places I've ever lived, obviously my parents' house, my hometown, is my roots. But if I had to pick one place that I really felt on my own, at home, like I know the city, I can make my way around the city, I have my own community, my own friends, my own steps of my career, all of that. If I had to pick any place in the entire world where I have made myself the most at home, it has to be Paris. So that makes it very special, and it made it difficult when I fell out of love with it. Honestly, I was ready for something new, but I also kind of grieved how much I'd fallen out of love with it. And I wish that I could get that love back. And actually, I don't remember if I ever said it in a video, but I know I said it to certain friends, and I thought it to myself. When I left and I was just so ready to go, I kind of in the back of my mind was hoping maybe after a couple of years, maybe 10, 20 years, after whatever amount of time it takes, maybe I will like Paris again. Maybe I will even love Paris again. But I just really hoped that one day I'd be able to look at it fondly. And I can confirm, happily, that that has happened. I actually do kind of miss Paris. It's not that I regret leaving either. I really do not regret it. It was the right moment for me then, and honestly, I'm not sure if I want to live there again right now. That's another question that has come up a lot. Will I ever move back to Paris? Will my husband and I ever find our way back there? And the answer to that is, I don't know. I actually really don't know. We don't know. But we have talked about it. I'm open to it. I gotta say I'm open to it. But it would have to be under the right circumstances. And there are a lot of things that make me a little bit hesitant, and a lot of reasons why I haven't put it on my list of places I would love to live next, whenever we're done with our tenure in the Netherlands. I don't know where we're gonna end up yet. We'll have to see. But what a crazy life we live, right? But I don't have Paris or France at the top of the wish list. And there are a lot of reasons for that. Mainly, the thing that I think I fear the most is that when I was living in Paris, especially during those first few years when everything was amazing and I was optimistic and I really loved it, a lot of the stuff, the pieces of the puzzle just fell into place just right. I was learning French, I was experiencing that for the first time, I was really integrating in my husband's family. We were, living together and married and all of that, so it was in a really exciting discovery time of our lives together. We were traveling together, and I made a lot of friends, a lot of really good friends. I really made myself a community in Paris. But now, if I were to move back 5 years later, a lot of those friends are either not there. Some of them have moved to different cities in France. Some of them have moved to different countries, near and far. Some of them have gotten new jobs that are super demanding, so we wouldn't be able to hang out in the same way that we did before. Some of them have had kids, and it would be an entirely different dynamic in that way as well. It wouldn't be the same. Regardless of how much we still, love each other and chat and all of that, it's not gonna be the same as when I was actually in Paris. The stuff that my husband and I like to do, it's not changed a lot, but it's changed a little. And even stuff going to the Louvre, that was amazing. We did it so many times. We would absolutely be visiting museums. Paris and the museum culture, I've never lived in a city like it. Never, never. I'm not sure I ever will again. But we visited a lot of them. We've experienced a lot of that. And there's always more to learn. There's always more to do and to see. But it's not going to have the same effect as the first couple of times that you visit certain wings of the Louvre, the first time that you see famous paintings and sculptures or experience all of that. It's just not the same. Also, I can no longer enter museums free like I could when I was under, I think it was 26, that you could enter museums free. That was amazing. That time is gone, sadly, and I would have to pay every time. You can't step in the same river twice, and that's both a bad thing and a good thing. There are also plenty of things about Paris that we would probably experience for the first time now. For example, when we were living in Paris, we were much younger, we were just starting out in our careers. Finances were not the strongest. Savings were not the most developed. So that free museum entry was actually essential for us at the time. We were constantly budgeting and, opting for the €5 bottle of wine at Monoprix instead of going out, to a restaurant. There were tons of restaurants that occasionally someone would recommend to me, and I'd look at the menu and be like, no, never in a million years could we go to that restaurant. And it's not like we do that now, really. I mean, we're not fancy restaurant people anyway, but we could do a lot more of those things if we chose to. So I think we'd be able to experience Paris in a very different way. And that would be exciting. And I'm sure we'd still be able to connect with a lot of our friends who are there, and we'd make new friends. Like, all of that is very possible because Paris is definitely a place that we can both integrate and feel at home, I think, pretty easily. I think we'd be able to do it again. I don't know, I've not tried, but I think it would be very doable. But do we want to? I don't know. As you can see, there are a lot of unknowns in our life right now and how we are approaching the opportunities that we're taking or not taking, and we like it. There are a lot of cons to this sort of lifestyle where we live a few years in a place and then move. Maybe the next one will be more permanent, more long-term. We kind of hope it will, but you know, who knows? And we like the life that we live for the moment, even if it's very chaotic to keep up with. And I'm so tired of explaining it in videos when I talk about my experience since Paris, when it was simple. I lived in Paris for 5 years. That was so easy to talk about. But I wouldn't trade it. Even though, as a planner, you guys know I'm a planner, like a really hardcore planner, it can be very frustrating. There are definitely times when I feel like my head's gonna explode because I can't plan stuff as much as I want to plan stuff. At the moment, we're in The Hague. We are enjoying life. We're doing new things like bouldering and stuff like that we never did before, but now if we went back to Paris or anywhere in France, apparently climbing is a very popular thing in France, which I just never knew. So I'm actually finding new ways of connecting with my French side and with, French culture from now the Netherlands. And we do want to visit. We have visited a couple times to visit my in-laws. We haven't gone to Paris together. I did get to go to Paris by myself for a few days, but there are other places in France that we really like to explore. We'll see. Stay tuned. Maybe I will have some videos or, reels or photos or something from different places in France at one point. I think that's pretty much all I wanted to say for now. I hope you've enjoyed hearing my evolved thoughts on Paris, on my time living in France. And I hope that you're excited to continue to hear me talk about different aspects of French culture and different learnings that I've been able to make from here, because no matter where I'm living, I will continue to grow. And I have nationality, so my Frenchness isn't going anywhere. It's just gonna keep getting stronger. Like I said, let me know in the comments below. I would love to know when you found my channel and when you decided to subscribe. And if that was yesterday, welcome. And if that was 10 years ago, how have you stuck around so long? Like, you deserve a medal for watching me go through all of those phases and still sticking with me. Give the video a like if you enjoyed it. Make sure you're subscribed if you want to be subscribed and haven't yet. And I will talk to you very, very soon in another video. Oh, and can we just take a moment for this shirt? This is actually a shirt that I got years ago from ASOS France. I didn't quite like how it fit at the time, so I sent it back thinking I would get it in a different size, and they didn't have it in a different size. And I have literally not stopped thinking about that shirt since then. I don't know if that was the right use of literally, but I have thought about it periodically ever since then. It's been like 7 or 8 years. And I saw it on Vinted from a person in France and I got it. And I'm so happy. I finally own this shirt. So this is a little callback for me to my Paris days. So that is all. I'm done for real now.